banned out, the Olaf may actually go through this game, something that's semi-heavily banned against Coast. Nintendude likes that in the jungle. Last ban going in here for Team Coast, and Evil Geniuses will be able to show us a little bit of what kind of hand they're bringing to the table.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Graga's still on the table, because Pobelter, that's definitely one of the champions he's had a tremendous amount of success on. And Olaf is going to be the last one. So Gragas will be up, but they go straight for the hover over of Soraka, and that would really give away the bottom lane.
Yeah.
Because every time they take Soraka, they take Urgot. So that would be a lot to put on their first pick.
Yellowpete, everybody in the past 2 weeks have been choosing so much Sivir. They get a little of their own Soraka medicine there. Call the stars on both teams, and he's going to pick up Sivir again.
I really would like them to lock that Soraka in and then take it top lane. Because it's actually a strong top lane that they're all talking about. All the pros are, every time we talk to them after, like, yeah, you know what? Soraka top lane, it's such a big bully. Only thing is you need jungle support. All right, well, somebody use it and call the jungler and have communication. See if
I don't know if that would let Zion be a carry for his
pull that out. Because we're already making that step back towards the old meta. Dignitas, years ago, with the Lulu mid, Soraka top. They ran that combo so much and so well that people had to ban those supports against them because they were playing them as solos. Lulu's already made her place back in mid. All that's left for it is Soraka to make a comeback.
There was a lot in that time too. They were doing Fizz top and all sorts of things.
Wild, wild west.
Wild, wild west indeed. Snoopeh and Pobelter here to get some selections in for themselves. We've been saying that Snoopeh, with the new champions, has been finding the big W. That was on Mundo the first time he really picked it up after not playing it for 3 months, and Volibear as well.
He seems like he's just so relaxed all the time. He's like, okay, yeah, we need to tank now, sure. Give me Mundo. I haven't played in 2 months. Don't care. I'll be fine.
That's really what he came from, right? He was the Maokais. He was the Cho'Gaths in the jungle anyways. He was that tank. Was ready to just be a support all day.
He's all about the tanky junglers here. But, you know, starting out with the first pick Sivir, we could again see similar strategy from EG. She adds so much because you can make the rotations much easier in the mid game. You don't have to just go for chasing people down, but obviously that's what she excels at. The hard thing for her are lane matchups, though, because everyone agrees Sivir's great for your team as a whole when you get to 5v5. But the lane matchups, there are a lot of champions we've already gone over that do well against her. It's not only Caitlyn either. Draven is supposed to have theoretically a good matchup against Sivir. Very high damage, and he doesn't really get punished for the lack of range.
We are going to get to see the Caitlyn Sivir matchup once again. Oh, I was hoping for the cast. Love to see some good cast play. And this Annie pick coming in here from Evil Geniuses, the first time for Krepo, but that is one of Daydreamin's higher played support at 3 times so far.
Well, it is going to add some surprise factor to this EG team. They have some pretty good long-range engage, and that's what they need because Coast is shaping up to be a pick composition here. Pick poke. They've got Nidalee and Caitlyn. That's really good for poking towards the late game, and you always want hard engage versus the poke team.
Pick poke sounds like you can get yourself into some trouble if you're doing too much picking when you should be poking. Get yourself into a sticky situation. Yellowpete, Krepo now as we see the Kayle. Been hovered on and locked in quite a while ago here for Evil Geniuses. That gives Pobelter a champion that he can easily carry this game on once it gets to that point.
Yeah, there it is.
The Volibear is going to make another showing here for Evil Geniuses.
So it will be Stampede version 2.
Yeah.
Bash making an appearance once again. This time they'll be backed up with a Kayle ulti though. So usually when you play against Sivir, you try and kite back, and then as soon as they finally get up to you and you can't run away anymore, then you just focus the first person that's coming in because they'll usually be further away from the rest of the team. But they can Kayle ulti whoever is spearheading this charge. So the first person on the front lines there, even if you focus that first person as they get in, if they're away from the rest of the team, they can get Kayle ulti to block a whole bunch of your damage output.
And I like it. You heard the crowd. They gave a little bit of the oohs, ahs. Jax locked in for ZionSpartan. We got to remember, this was against a Mundo last time. That's the safe lane of a Mundo who doesn't bring Ignite, doesn't fight you in lane. But he's going against Shyvana.
A little bit different story here. She has a bit stronger early game, but Zion very, very confident in his Jax play, as he should be. We saw it yesterday. And this pick there, that kind of turns it into more of a 4-1 splitting team because they definitely want to get Zion back to the same status that he was earlier this weekend. And he'll probably be off on his own, trying to split push. Early on, though, well, I think he'll be getting support from Nintendude because Jackson early on, you know, Zion does play very aggressively, but you have to have some backup there, especially in the top lane.
I was actually going to ask you that from EG's side in that manner. Once we do, let's go over the voting first. Don't let me forget. Well, the champs are locked in, so we got to check out the voting, right? Everybody at home has voted, and according to you guys, 80% of you think that Evil Geniuses are going to be the superior intellects in this matchup.
Well, they do have a very strong fan base due to all the stars on their team. And
that 3 core of Snoopeh, Yellowpete, and Krepo.
They did also have success yesterday.
They did.
With a very similar set of champions. So, so far, going by the numbers, seems like fans think they had their favorite.
All right, so back to the point of the top lane. We said that Zion would be getting help from Nintendo, but how's that work in the eyes of EG? They know Zion was a huge factor. How easy is it to gank that Jax, though, from their end?
I think that both teams will be expecting attention up top. So it really is going to come down to wards and the vision that you can get. The more information one team is able to get early on the jungler movements is really going to translate into a lot of top lane bullying, because both of those top laners love going aggressive. And if they know that they have the advantage up there, their jungler's closer, they won't hesitate to go for those trades.
Definitely something we like to see. Early game aggression. Hopefully Zion and InnoX provide for us thoroughly. See, same start in the jungles here. Nothing special like the Doran's Blade coming in. Nintendude was one to try that. He brought out the Leona, brought out other things, but he's going for the regular Vi. And everybody just sets up a line of scrimmage.
The Leona Nintendo. Wow, that's a throwback. I remember that game. The Jungle Leona. You only tried it once. You only need to try it once, and then you learn.
Yep. You learn Ona.
So this is some manners here. Nobody's even going for the attack. You see how close can he get before they actually get uncomfortable and start throwing down spears?
It's a personal bubble right now. He could just huff a spear right in the face of Pobelter right now. That's some manners. Good guy Pobelter. And good guy Shiphtur.
All right, all the defensive wards going down. So the only real early information is going to be that Vi is starting on their blue, because Pobelter was able to get a little bit of vision there on Vi, some on the bottom side of the map. So they'll know that if you go regular jungle routes, it's going to be Vi ending her double buff route at top, and it's going to be Snoopeh ending his down bottom. So both of those lanes should play accordingly. Very good-natured game starting out so far. Everybody's in a good mood.
I like it. It's almost like the beginning to a scrim, and then everything goes awry. Well, that's what one team is hoping for them. 2 minutes in, we're going to see these lanes getting started as we are into our third match of the day, EG versus Coast. This is Coast's matchup. They won the first one in this head-to-head. Looks like they're going to try to be winning the second one, but then again, so is EG. That's what you do when you come into a game. Shiphtur going heel first, keeping himself healthy.
All right, so, you know, Pobelter did shove the lane, get the early level 2 so that he can try and force Nidalee to lose CS to turret early. Like that strategy.
Yeah.
It was always sort of one of Nidalee's weaknesses.
Well, hopefully he can heal and get the attack speed to pick up some minions.
Zion level 2, boom. He does the exact same thing.
The level 2 boom.
Down bottom, I think, you know, Krepo did start with his Q this time around. He was trying to get that early harass, but since Caitlyn Thresh constantly autoing the waves, they've done exactly as intended, built it up, and they're fighting a little bit closer to the turret here. So, as we said before, they know the jungler is going to end his route on the bottom. They need to ward, and they do at least have one in the tri-bush.
Mundo or Shyvana, ZionSpartan is not going to give him any different treatment, and he is going hard on InnoX right now. InnoX down to about 300 or so HP.
Yeah, look at his mana pool, though. He's burned through that thing so quickly. This is why there's been a rise in mana-less top laners. Shyvana doesn't have to worry about that resource. So Zion recalls never mind. He cancels it.
Get you faked out.
Got me.
So it looks like Shiphtur has the 1-2-3 leveled up in mid lane, but that means Pobelter does as well. And he's slowly holding that wave. It's growing for him, trying to crush it into the turret. These guys going heavy in the top lane, not the usual.
Zion did a good job. He got his early lead by going super aggressive, but as we said, he's out of mana now, so it's hard for him to keep up that same level. And even though InnoX is sitting pretty low here, he feels very comfortable staying around because of that. The only problem will be is he does get jungler attention. And he does finally go back. There we go.
He actually picks up a green as well. Nintendude with a very fast pink ward grab. He'll probably get that in one of the regular spots. We'll see where he puts that in a few minutes as Pobelter does his best to poke out Shiphtur under the turret. Not poke, but damage out.
And he's doing a great job of it. Whenever you shove someone into turret very early, you usually want to use the time at the turret to harass them instead of going for just turret damage. Because the early level turret damage is, you're not going to get the turret anytime soon. And you will have so much more pressure in your lane if you use that time to harass them. But whenever you play aggressive, you open yourself up to jungle ganks.
Getting a little tunneled, a very nice job on speeding himself around. The spear hits. The red buff is there, but no vision.
That was such a good play by Pobelter. Even though he took a large amount of harass, he saved his flash with that move speed buff and the dodge on Vault Breaker. That's pretty much all you have to do for the early Vi ganks. If she doesn't land Vault Breaker, there's not going to be damage behind it.
Scary, scary thing.
Snoopeh
was just on the outside there. Coast decided to back off from mid gank without the vision of him. Snoop coming down to the bottom lane, and nothing going to happen there either. So both junglers trying their hand. They don't come up with anything. But Coast has just a tiny gold lead from the CS right now.
And they replace the Tribush ward. So what they're doing down there, since they only have trinket wards to rely on, first, they're staggering their trinket wards, and they're only keeping the Tribush warded. That's why the river needs to be warded by mid lane or jungle, because there's two ways to gank down red side, down that bottom side.
38 to 32 in the top lane. Not too big of a discrepancy there. Everybody's keeping quite even as Daydreamin takes a hit of damage. But right now, Yellowpete and Krepo are not having a fun time in this bottom lane. Not close to 6, so they're not pushing it out hard any time here, and they're just taking damage.
Yeah, and sitting around level 4 is when there's going to be the least amount of action. They're really just going for harass and trying to keep up the CS until they get explosive in a couple levels. Pobelter's low on mana as well.
That would have been a great gank.
Yeah. Now, what I really want to talk about, though, is the top lane, because I'm very interested in Zion's playstyle while he's allowing himself to get these leads and play super aggressive. What he does is he shoves it all the way in, gets his little bit of a lead, and then he's backing. He's backed twice already. He's taking so many frequent trips to the fountain that he's not being punished because there's a small window for the jungler to gank him when he's shoving up, when he's going aggressive. As soon as he gets that wave past the river, he gets all the way to the turret and recalls again. So he's not there anymore. He's doing a very good job of switching between super aggressive and then healing.
InnoX doing a great job winning those 1v1s we just saw in the top lane. Burnout giving him a bit of advantage because he takes out the minions on Zion's side, so he's got a few more minions in his favor, but the full fight is not looking good. Once the ultimate is thrown on, ZionSpartan has the upper hand.
Gets that first blood by seconds. Snoopeh down bottom, immediately answered, and since that aggression was down bottom, the Dragon's up for dibs, but it was a jungler-less? No, it was just a solo kill up top. That's how you're going to say it.
See where they can go. Snoopeh looks like he's trying to get himself into position. We'll see what he did down in the bottom lane. Walked right past WizFujiiN. Easy kill there.
Bite him in the head.
Just quick bite coming in from Yellowpete on the kill. We'll see. Dragon is still left up after that. Watching the replay. 1-1, like you said, just a few seconds off of the first blood. Those feels you get when that happens in your game. 8 minutes here, and really the gold lead has been all evened out with no turrets taken down just yet. Too early.
Plus, what we missed in that is Snoopeh seems to be wearing the blue of Team Coast because his blue is still up, so he can save that and give it over to Pobelter. That's a really big point in this game since Nidalee relies very heavily on blue buff. The big points of mid lane Nidalee are sustain and just not being shoved out of lane and constantly throwing spears and healing, so she's a big presence in lane just by trying to force the other mid laner out. She's not one to sort of set up ganks or anything like that, but there's the answer.
Yep, they're privy. They knew what would happen. They have the ward right down on their blue buff that was placed when Snoopeh took it. Good hit by Shiphtur, and EG is actually going to go ahead and move on this, taking Dragon here around 9 minutes into the game. We'll see a 15-minute Dragon coming up We'll see if they can keep control of that as well. It almost is going to be quite timed with that blue buff, so they may try to pressure on Coast as well.
Very good decision by EG. They see the invade on blue and decide to trade it for Dragon. Snoopeh does get leashed in and have to proc his passive, but that will be it.
Still pushing up on the turret. We just heard this from Balls versus Cutie Pie that Caitlyn completely beats out Sivir in lane, and right now he's only got a 11 CS lead. They're not doing anything huge with this.
I mean, as long as he doesn't get killed, it seems to be okay so far. Krepo's trying to sort of flaunt his power now that he is level 6. He has the possibility to go for the Tibbers, but Daydreamin as well has a lot of answers if they decide to go super aggressive.
I'm interested to see how Shiphtur can do again on this Nidalee play. It wasn't the factor of Bjergsen. Didn't have quadra kills coming in, but he is still very proficient at keeping the poke game going and doing the right things.
Well, they put a lot into his mid lane Nidalee here. They traded Dragon for this blue buff that he's wearing. So he really needs to make use of it and gain control of that mid lane. As we said before, Nidalee's all about the sustain in lane and just outlasting her opponent.
Shiphtur's one of the ones that can do that. He's got quite a big champion pool, and usually he shows pretty well on each. It shouldn't be any different this game. We see roaming down the bottom lane now from Nintendude as Coast keeps looking to put things in their favor because they're just a little bit behind at the moment.
Now, this is a dangerous proposition, and that's why they don't actually go through with that gank. Because as we said, Krepo's sitting on his stun. Anytime Annie's just sitting on it, she has a lot of threat, especially for the turret dives.
It's just going to allow a little bit more damage from WizFujiiN, being safe.
Ooh, Snoopeh's going up top here. So even though Zion's bullying him, InnoX has pulled in the jungler.
We saw ZionSpartan in previous 2v1s. He's going to go, oh, he's using the blue suede shoes in the brush this time. Back and forth, he makes sure he gets flipped the opposite way so he can jump back to his minions. Very nice job, but it's going to be one last hit coming in. Is he there? Oh, he gets the jump away. The flame breath. It's just too hot for Spartan.
So Zion does at least make them use the flash from InnoX. And also there was a roam up top from Pobelter because it wasn't quite sure if they were going to get it. And answering top for mid damage here. Probably be a lot more damage on the top lane than they'll get down here.
With that heal from Nidalee, they can definitely get some good damage on it and prep it up for a little bit of gold to be picked up later. But InnoX will be picking this up for the entire team. You're going to have a nice gold lead and a bit of a kill lead.
EG have also called the switch here. Annie roaming up top to try and help defend that mid lane, which left Sivir down bottom. This is not actually the worst situation because Sivir has amazing wave clear. Tibbers misses.
Fine Tibbers, a good flash by Shiphtur, but a good flash still means a flash down, so they may revisit that in just a little bit. We did see, like you said, that roam from Krepo, which leaves Yellowpete by himself, and being down in CS and not getting crushed by Caitlyn is maybe the reason they did that.
Well, yeah, as I said, she's got great wave clear, so she's not in the worst situation that you could be in the 1 versus 2 bottom lane.
It's like both junglers going for the golem. Going to be quite tanky this game. Snoopeh is still doing quite well. He has 2 assists for himself. He did have a hand in first blood with Volibear in the last game he played it, which was his last game. So with this, they look to continue controlling the game. ZionSpartan's still a factor, though, for Coast. We're watching him very closely. He's not having the game he did last time.
Well, he was just out to a really, really good start. It was just the jungle attention, as we said, can swap the winner of that top lane pretty quickly. But he's not giving up on it just from one gank. What you want to do on Jack's post level 6, auto attack twice some minions to get your ultimate charge up, and then you leap in when you already have your Empowered Strike ready from your ultimate, and then you also use the W. So you get a huge burst in a trade, then go back to auto-attacking minions.
All the minions. Looking at the CS around the board, it's actually quite close. One of the closest games that we have had. I think the biggest discrepancy we have here is between the junglers. That's because Snoopeh has 2 assists and he's been out in the lanes trying to fuel them. The blue buffs going to be coming up quite soon here There's one coming up on the EG side. The timer is had by Coast. We'll see if they act on it.
Yeah, both teams stealing away each other's blue buffs. Do have the timers. But
there's
it looks
the ping.
Like yeah, they've got a ward in that side of the jungle too.
Well, it looks like Shiphtur may try to head up top and get a cheeky spear in.
Yeah.
Nintendude's going to go into the bottom side. They're using this knowledge
this is
to
so
their advantage.
as a jungler,
a little too
wow.
early, but nice try.
One of the most frustrating things as a jungler if your buff gets
You just
stolen
know it's
from
going to
Flag of
happen.
War, yeah.
Almost have to deal with it. So Pobelter finally gets this blue. We'll see if it really makes a change in the mid lane or draws Snoopeh there for a quick kill. Zion and InnoX still trading back and forth. Up top, ZionSpartan going for a fast Triforce to the Sunfire built up by InnoX already.
And also, with the Dragon coming up very soon here, we have to be very, very wary of ganks in the bottom side of the map. You know, Via's post level 6, so if they make a move, if Coast decide to call for a Thresh Lantern over to a Vi gank, then even one kill on like Krepo, even on the support, would be enough for them to go for something.
Misses the Vault Breaker, trying to go in, and look at that damage traded back to Nintendude. Has to be healed up. Very nice by Shiphtur. He answers nicely.
Both with the heal and with the return spear.
You were talking about this dragon happening, Kobe. We saw Nintendude roam to the bottom side of the jungle and get wards in when Snoopeh and Pobelter went to take blue. They've been setting this up for a while.
Well, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 regulars, 2 pinks down for Coast. They put
Nintendude's
a lot
doing it
of
alone
money.
now.
They put so much money into this bottom side.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, that's a hungry
You
bear.
smell something.
That's just out of smite range.
Oh, no. The wind was blowing upstream.
Oh, he wants the pink ward. That's not good investing. All right, Nintendude coming up with that. A good move by Coast to kind of see that the map didn't have too much movement on it, and they were able to sneak out a dragon with great vision control.
That's just a bold call by Nintendude, and unfortunate for Snoopeh. He misses the second pink ward, too. Not only does he see the dragon's gone, he didn't walk through the bush twice. No! Oh, man, you got to train yourself to always walk right through that bush.
All right, so I think he actually also told the team there, Dragon, this time we may have it. One turret in favor of Evil Geniuses opens up the top side of the map. It's not really anything they want right now. They're not pressuring the red buff. They're not trying to get too much.
Oh, he gets hooked into a trap.
There's double consecutive on the stack there. Good shield over to WizFujiiN, but do they have the right connection? The damage goes down onto Krepo. Yellowpete taking a big shot there.
They do call out this rotation down mid, though. Look at this. Even though Volibear and Kayle are coming, Coast, their ward coverage around Dragon was so good that the bottom lane doesn't overcommit after that kill. And it's great communication and great preemptive warding by the team.
That pink ward that Snoopeh's killing now is the one they walk through. So that is a rough situation. He gets it now. It looks like Nintendude's drawn down here for the time being.
Yeah. I also want to shout out in that last fight down bottom, WizFujiiN did not commit 100% to the anti-kill. He backed up because he expected the Tibbers to come down. So he didn't overextend and get himself into trouble. He let Daydreamin finish off that kill. Even though he'd rather have the gold, doesn't want to go down for it, and it was the right call.
We've seen WizFujiiN come back from seriously bad situations. In fact, it was against Evil Geniuses. He was getting hooked in by Krepo in the early part of the game, but they're getting hooked in this time, and they're going to give him back their own medicine. Krepo goes down, and Wiz, he picks up that kill.
Side lane bush control is so important against Thresh because it's very, very difficult to dodge those hooks. Almost impossible if they're coming out of the bush.
A quick 1-2 to the turret. Coast picks up there first, evening up the structures on the map. Still got a while for Dragon to go down here, but if that mid turret goes down as well, Coast may start to get a good advantage on the bottom side. We see InnoX taking some damage from ZionSpartan. He does everything he can, and all that damage, a little bit more.
He went and got that red buff by himself, so definitely wanting to make use of the slow that he has to put more and more pressure onto InnoX. Keep him up under the turret. He's going for the dive.
Throws down the ultimate. The Grandmaster is trying to do just that. Dragon's Descent comes out, but he knows the Ignite's going to walk the kill away.
Zion is just dominating, but the mid lane here, Pobelter also taking some hits.
Shiphtur should be all right on this one. Krepo was not in range for the Flash and Tibbers. Flash is down, so didn't really give him too much help there. Getting the damage into the turret as Pobelter tanks it up a little bit. And we see Jax, the glorious sound as he takes down top turret.
Man, we've heard this noise before. And last time that was going off, it was Coast in a really, really strong position in their game, taking it fairly easily. So EG have to start worrying about that split push Jax. Who's going to go meet him? They have to elect somebody. At this point, it's almost already has to be 2 people.
We were just at 1-1 in the turrets. Now we're at 3-2. Quickly going in favor of Evil Geniuses as it looks like they are all going to back. They've chosen the right time to do so. Coast out of the lanes and taking up their own jungle as well.
Now that Zion has taken that top lane tower, though, he has an interesting decision to make. Will he rotate, or will he try and press his luck in the top lane by just warding up that entire blue side so that his team can be the one controlling the blues? If they control both blues, that will be huge for their Nidalee.
Well, if you look at Shiphtur just placed a pink down, meaning they would have had 4 pink wards in their inventory. They are taking control of the map as much as they can right now.
Well, the last outer turret, definitely going to be the point for them. And they want to be able to use the poke. Since Shiphtur currently sitting on a blue, Caitlyn, Nidalee sieging up is a really good situation for them right now. And since Zion won't have to walk that far all the way from the top lane, they can continue to have him split push and force somebody up top while they poke down the last outer turret.
Zion is Triforce finished now. He has been for a while as he builds up the Cutlass. Coast has good deep wards here to start moving on some things.
I would actually say for EG right now, if they want to make a move, they've got to commit 5 people, pop on the hunt, Krepo catch somebody with his stun, and hard engage on this poke.
It is the Stampede, Kobe. We have not seen them use it yet. Coast does not want to get close to this turret, however. They know they are playing the poke game, and they stay afar.
You can tell. They know exactly what the game plan is. The furthest person up may be Daydreamin because he'll throw down the box.
That was Max. Max range, half health of Yellowpete right now, and he has 1,438 HP, so you're looking at 700 damage spears to the face.
The great thing about this set of champions for Coast is that if they do land those spears, 2 spears under 1 person, then they could go with Vi ulti.
Oh, like he popped them all up. That was an amazing vault breaker. Coast back into this fight, and EG did not expect any of that to start this one off.
Oh, they're still going. They take down the bear, and there's only 2 left.
Pobelter under the turret does not have intervention up anymore. Zion's just swinging the baton in the air, and he gets out with the lantern. Great move by Daydreamin.
All right, so they got the turret plus the 2 kills already. They should easily be able to stay here because blue buff Nidalee heals going to sustain them.
That'd be a scary person to keep going on. Oh, very nice job by Shiphtur. Picks himself up a kill. He hooked that one over his shoulder. They didn't expect it.
Oh, he's got to click the lantern.
2 now.
Got it.
Daydreamin, the support of supports. Great job.
So they rotate over to Dragon because EG are already respawning. This early in the game, death timer is way, way too short for them to press her and stay at the turret. But that's a huge amount of gold and the timer that they'll keep. So let's look at the fight again. It was the amazing vault breaker right into 3 and then into the assault and battery. They just dominated with the counter engage there from Nintendude. And man, chunks coming from Shiphtur's spears are already being a huge problem for EG.
Zion's back in that 3v1 mode. He knows he can go hard in these fights. They did a bit of damage to him, but he can still get out without it really being too scary. Look at that, 220 to 188 in that top lane. He has taken off.
And it's really this combo, too. It's not just Zion on Jax. It's Shiphtur on Nidalee. Jax benefits so much from attack speed that when she heals him, she's also increasing his offensive capabilities tenfold, at least. Well, that's an exaggeration, but...
What was it last time? You know, Shiphtur was fighting somebody and Zion was like, I need you to heal me. I need that attack speed. He's like, I'm fighting the support though. He's like, what do you mean you're fighting the support? This whole team does what they need to do, and it actually worked out for him. So the communication is there for Coast. We'll have to see if it can stay there. They're 7-2 right now with a 4,000 gold lead over EG. As we said, Coast does have the 1-0 in the head-to-head over EG. So they're looking for a second win.
Yeah, Coast are really... looking like they want to just follow the exact same game plan. It should be pretty easy for them to execute. As long as they're safe as they were before in the early siege, the 4-man team kiting back until they get the nice counter engage, you know, set up box and then bam, go into the Vi initiate. It's a great counter for them. Pretty much all that's going to happen is that Zion will keep on getting stronger and stronger because there's no one person that can deal with him. InnoX has already... had too much
And it makes
playtime with Zion.
a little harder for InnoX to take this turret by himself,
Okay, 3
too.
people might be able to do it, though.
Well, I don't know, man. 3 people yesterday
Maybe.
only meant he got more kills. He'll be stunned up for quite some time. Oh, it's over the wall, though. Boomerang's not going to do much, and he kind of tricked him out there.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. He's got his combo, man. The Blade of the Ruined King plus Trinity Force is the Jack's dream right now.
Wow, just right in the face of danger. Snoopeh couldn't really do anything about it.
Oh, it's actually Pobelter who has been split pushing down bottom and extended pretty far. He still has the trap on him, so Shiphtur should be able to land consecutive spears.
This is big. Intervention goes down. Shiphtur's going to have some big damage here, but he might have to back off so WizFujiiN can get the auto attacks in. One more, and he does save Shiphtur. Great double play there.
So they went with actually 1-3-1 split push here. Pobelter, you know, he drew everyone down bottom, but EG, they weren't wasting that time. Both mid and top are pushed up. They're getting turret damage here.
Whoa, NintendudeX, a few more shots. They throw on the hunt. He goes for the Q to get away, but the Ignite was already on. They're going to be able to turn around. Wow, Tibbers double tank. Very nice.
Now, 2 outer turrets, but there's still 4 people down bottom for Coast. So they pretty much got everybody trying to recall and get back to defend their base because EG, as we said, they're shoving 2 lanes. They got 2 lane wins out of just 1 kill on Pobelter.
That is ridiculous. EG just completely turned this one around on the hunt. The Talisman, the Stampede is finally coming through for him. I don't think Zion's going to be able to get too close. He does get the Blade of the Ruined King on. He dumps in with the flash. Yellowpete almost goes down. ZionSpartan going to make the plays, making his teacher proud.
Now he's calling for Baron already, it looks like. They do have, you know, a pink ward in the area, and there's no blue vision inside the pit. Baron should go down pretty easily to a Blade of the Ruined King Jax.
That's going to happen.
EG make the call to try and push again, counter pushing.
They got the bottom turret. They could get an inhibitor out of this. I don't know why they're just not crushing down there. They got the Volibear pretty healthy, but they are going to get pinched in. So pretty good move to just go for the bottom. It's going to cause EG, or rather Coast, to have to react heavily to this.
See if they can actually pull this pincer off. They're trying to have Shiphtur and Nintendude head around and cut him off.
Oh, they're going for the long haul.
The EG team has so much movement speed here with Kayle speeding people up.
This is just like a meteor that's going to blow up your planet coming straight at you. And Pobelter has to watch it. Snoopeh's there. The whole entire team is just walking along the beach now. Pobelter's the focus. InnoX Dragons descend in. The shield from Daydreamin as he flays and gets ZionSpartan back out of the fight. A great box as they engage what they want to, but make sure to disengage when it gets dangerous.
He trapped everybody up in that box.
That was great.
Zion had to jump back out because he took a lot of initial burst there, as well as Nintendude. And it was an interesting turn of events because the hunted became oh my goodness, they need to finish off second blue buff here for Shiphtur. I think they'll want to try and control the other one as well because they do have control of that side of the map.
They've pretty much been able to find Pobelter by himself. We've seen interventions used only defensively. They haven't been able to give it to Snoopeh or InnoX on that charge in. Really just trying to get themselves out of these fights, and that's what the kill sheet says as well. They've only found 3 to the 10 of Coast.
Ooh.
ZionSpartan, the empowered's on, Kobe.
He's looking for kills inside the... Oh, Yellowpete just walking to death.
That was one hit. He couldn't get the counter strike, but it's not going to be any problem. One more hit coming in. You can see Yellowpete just despair.
Man, it only took Zion, like maybe 25 minutes to get to this point, too.
I think he might be drawing Jax bans.
And Jax is pretty much one of the best champions to have Baron buff on because he benefits both from the attack buff and from the ability power buff. All the mixed damage that he's putting out, as we saw, it goes really, really well when you're beating down an AD carry.
Well, with the way he's building, you got to be in and out with Jax, and we just saw that in the last fight, going into Crush and then hopping back out to come and do it again. And like we said, the whole team is really keeping the right course of action in mind. Shiphtur is keeping the team at a distance so he can keep the poke game going. Daydreamin's hitting the hooks with Nintendude when they need it.
And again, so Coast, they're in a great position right now. Of course, they've got plenty of poke to rely on for this siege. But the way they got to this position, they got the Jax berry fed. It was pretty much Zion's playstyle. It's just Zion. He was shoving in very aggressively, pushing InnoX back to his turret, and then back into base so often, Snoopeh never really, got consistent ganks up there. He only had one successful visit, and that did not do anything to slow down Zion.
And we look, they get up to these turrets. We've talked about it before, that trap game to come out now. The bushwhacks from Nidalee, all the traps going down. It's just shutting down the Stampede's team initiation.
Yeah, the Stampede can't run through this obstacle course of Caitlyn traps and Nidalee traps. They're just going to continue to eat spears, and the turret's almost down.
That is someone they want, but I like Nintendude's choice on that, to not go fully.
He misses the spear on the trapped bear right there. It's a fairly large hitbox.
That's all right. He got it when it wasn't.
Now, once this turret takes a couple more hits, they also have the tools for initiation, because Vi is ready to go in.
He caliber netted the Timbers attack. Amazing play there by WizFujiiN, ready for the fight. Yellowpete gets a good kill with Pobelter going in onto Nintendude. ZionSpartan was in the bottom lane. It's a 5v1 on a ZionSpartan, and that's what it takes.
So what's on the board for EG to take right now? Shove up mid for an inhibitor or go for Dragon. They definitely want minion wave advantage, but to get there, they would have to run through Nidalee spear after Nidalee spear after Nidalee spear. If Krepo takes one more spear, he's dead.
Cannot let it happen. That's the pressure that Shiphtur puts on this game when he plays Nidalee, when he plays a champion that can kind of turn your game around. And it looks like EG is trying to do that right now for themselves. Turn this back around. Inhibitor, like you said, 5 seconds for Vi.
No home guards.
It's not going to be home guards on the Ninja Tabi. And it was going to be a slow hit on that inhibitor, but they take it down, and EG, after just holding and staving off such pressure.
They need to book it now.
They do need to book it.
If they try and go for more, and they try and go for a Dragon, Coast will clean them up. So pretty much, inhibitor down, but Coast now have control of the map, and they can take that Dragon. This is a late game Dragon. As we're so fond of saying, once the average level hits 15, that 1,300 gold that it gives you is almost as much gold as Baron will give you. So it's a huge objective late game compared to how much it used to give you.
And they want to get that off the map before Baron even becomes a problem so far. 2 Randuins here on the side of EG. That's going to help synergize with the Stampede as they initiate it to keep Coast right in arm's reach and keep those kills coming in. Pobelter's ready to start taking down turrets as well as champions. The Lichbane's finished as well as the Nashers, and he's looking to build more damage as the Void Staff gets completed.
Oh man, Nidalee with Deathcap, Void Staff, and Fiends, that is the
cannon of damage as well.
Those are the 3 items that really mean death for any support or AD carry who catches any more than 1 spear.
A lot of people considering that ZionSpartan hurts here. You see a lot of the Ninja Tabis, not a lot, but both InnoX and Snoopeh choosing that.
At this point in the game, he doesn't even, try and control his character either. Just inside a minion wave, just auto attack at will. Free will jacks. If you get the last hit, that's great. If you don't, oh well.
Apply face to keyboard. See where they go with this. Krepo looks to be getting some good pink ward clears out. It's something that has kind of laxed behind here for EG. We saw a few pink wards earlier, and now they're trying to gain this.
Zion's on the hunt again. He really wants to catch this Dragon. Oops. Oh, he stepped out! He edged out. Well, time to go now.
Red buff. There's the Randuins. And it's going to be ticking. And, oh, wow, he is trying to synergize every he got the jump with the Dragon's Descent. These guys are just buddies right now. Krepo's going to take that. Nice guy.
They got the Talisman activation. Speed is such a big part of the EG team. That's a really big cooldown for them. Pobelter, though, he's knocking at the door. Somebody has to answer.
There's a heck of a lot of farm going to every champion in this game, and it's making people quite big. We're seeing a lot of 1v1s, a lot of this split pushing happening by Pobelter. He's now in the top lane as opposed to previously in the bottom lane. Everybody back to soak up the resources, grab the buffs, and then back to fighting.
So I like what EG are doing here because they don't have anyone who can actually fight Zion, but Pobelter is a decent split pusher himself. Empowered by that Lichbane, if left unattended, he will take a building extremely quickly. So they're sending him to whatever lane Zion isn't in on the side, and just creating pressure on the other side of the map, trying to trade gold evenly as far as the split pace game goes, and not actually fight until they get on more even ground.
Kayle's being picked up here by Krepo, keeping somebody safe, keeping somebody going, a little healthy. A little out of danger. ZionSpartan has been flash initiating into these fights. You haven't really seen Nintendude initiating with Assault and Battery. It's just ZionSpartan's already in fighting 4 people by the time everyone else gets there.
Yeah, Zion is level 18 there. He's maxed out as far as experience goes. So
he's 2 levels higher than anybody on the opposing team.
That's what split pushing will do for you. And this is even after the changes to the minion waves. He's got all that solo experience, but no teleport. So no teleport means dun dun dun.
That's right. It means you are in the bottom lane, and EG wants to start posturing here for Baron. They're going to set up for Coast to get a little weary about this, and you can see Coast starting to adapt.
Everybody's seen all the highlight reels from yesterday. Several teams losing many members around the Baron. They actually leash him and get a lot of damage on Snoopeh from the Baron plus spears!
Oh man, that was not in the books.
And that means Zion's going to have a lot of time down at this bottom turret. All of their Baron pressure is now gone.
What, did you get health back from your passive? Sorry, ace in the hole. Zion in the bottom lane. He is going hard on this turret. The Dragon's Descent tries to kick him away. Able to clear out the few bit of minions there, but we also have Coast doing Baron on the top side.
Now Zion backed up right as Pobelter was coming down here. Zion does not have wards in this small lane. If Pobelter gets down to Zion, they're going to kill him, but their team will at least get Baron for it.
Oh, he flashed on that one, but the slow was applied after. Very unfortunate there. Very slow, but steady Baron taken over by Coast.
Yeah, Zion gladly gives his life for the greater good.
This is getting intense here. We got an open inhibitor on the side of Coast. They do have Baron now, so they can kind of turtle it up and get a good push if they need it. But if EG gets one solid fight, they can wreak havoc on this base of Coast.
Yeah, Coast, they're only going to sit on their heels until Zion's back up. Then immediately shove back down because they want to make use of the massive poke that they have.
It's like where he's at right now. It's like he's not missing Baron. But he will. He died when they got it, so the rest of Coast is going to have that second Baron of the game. 3 out of 4 Dragons. They've been in pretty much full control. EG has been resorting to the split push to get back into this.
He will be remembered for his noble sacrifice.
Let's see where Coast decides to go for here. They have complete vision control of the top side of the map, and they see a turret that needs to be taken down. So it looks like we're going to get Zion to the bottom, Coast to the top. They proceed back. Like you said, once Zion is back, we're into the action.
Yeah, the secondary turrets are much easier to siege up than the inhibitor turrets. Not only because of the walls that are around the base, but also because of the regeneration of those inhibitor turrets. So even if you get small auto attack poke down onto the turrets, every little chip does count on the outer ones.
Coast is setting up pretty nicely here. Well, Daydreamin's going to back. I thought they were going to set up a little bit of safety as WizFujiiN would pressure the lane, but EG is drawing them back into mid. And it looks like they're only going to have a semi-push there and really let ZionSpartan get some work done before they activate anything in mid.
EG is doing a good job of fighting to stay in this game because they have the movement speed advantage, and every time Zion pushes bottom, they counter push a different lane. So there's always at least one lane pushing in EG's favor, which causes Coast to rotate again, and it's making problems for them trying to finish out.
And it's all taking a little bit longer. Usually you see the split push happen, a teleport come in, and then a fight, but everybody's got to walk everywhere on this. There are no teleports to come in, so it's very weary as the split push starts. See that Zion is pushing that lane, making sure that he's not in any danger, and only going farther when he knows that EG is off, kind of doing something else, trying to defend on Coast.
Krepo just watching his ward die. So sad.
Do what he can. He'll have his sweeper in a second. He can get it back or get somebody else's ward. 40 minutes we're coming up on this game. We're the longer ones in the day as these two teams both trying to get in each other's base. We already have the inhibitor turret, as I said, down on Coast, but they're working with Baron right now. The second one they've grabbed in the game, and they are just grabbing up more gold. 6-6 in turrets on the map as they approach the front door of EG's base.
Now, Krepo does have flash this time around. Ooh, barely gets out of range. So that was a really good movement speed buff for him to get out of range of that spear, because they really need Krepo to land the flash tibbers. If they can get that hard engage onto the Nidalee, Shiphtur will go down very quickly if they CC stack him. InnoX doesn't want to get close enough to Zion to get beat on with that stick.
Just the slow roll right now. Coast not trying to put themselves in a dangerous position, and they have no reason to. ZionSpartan is so big in the bottom lane, 4-3-1 on the game. That's what they were looking for. It'll give them that ability to get WizFujiiN in there and get the pokes on the turret. The minion wave just a little bit out. then they're going to start working on this.
Yeah, and Krepo having the flash cooldown upgrade for his boots, distortion instead of home guards, means that the flash, yeah, it will be a lower cooldown, but right now, he has to be able to get back to the fountain to heal every time he catches a spear, and then return to the fight. Moby boots will help a bit.
See this happening for a while. ZionSpartan finally backs off. They're going to kind of reset. It's really waiting on the mistake here. WizFujiiN goes again to try and ace in the hole. Doesn't really get that one off for himself. They're just trying to put down that early starting damage so they can get more on the turret.
Oh, what Coast are looking for are, of course, the spears to land.
Oh, that was nice.
You know, if they set up a spear with a hook, then that's a much better story. But again, Snoopeh is just on a leash right now.
Yeah, he's not going
Daydreamin's
too much
got
anywhere.
his number!
Oh, he got him again onto the trap.
Oh my
Deja
God!
vu! There's the passive, but they want to initiate onto this with Snoopeh being very low. Does EG have the focus to win this fight? Daydreamin and the rest of the team backing off.
Oh
Shiphtur on the
my.
outside with a beautiful spear, threading the needle on that one. And it looks like they're going to be able to get the damage they need. The bottom turret falls for ZionSpartan, and they are going hard on this.
And Yellowpete flashes onto WizFujiiN!
Oh, Nintendude's right there. They go 1-for-1 very quickly in that engage.
Wow! Meanwhile, down bottom. Okay, Zion knows, oh, so much attention up top. That means nobody else will join the fight. I'm all alone with InnoX.
Repeat for ZionSpartan. He comes back, does the same thing again on Jax, and he is making it so hard for EG to even get ground in their own base. Coming out very strong now, 40 minutes into the game, 70,000 gold has just been hit to 60,000. Coast up 10 grand, ready to push this game to the Nexus.
The really big story was that they got the inhibitor turrets down. They don't even care about the actual inhibitors because it's so easy for them to return to the same game plan. All right, so let's watch the fight. As soon as Zion is alone with InnoX, we know what happens already. Zion does
oh, that was nice. Stepping in front and throwing it off so he can get more room to hit.
That was the enemy's red buff, by the way, that he's wearing. He was able to take away EG's.
It's like, how does this feel? You were using this earlier. Oh, I got it. 8-6 in turrets. 3 more turrets left on the map here for EG. That's their middle inhibitor and the 2 Nexus as we get a little bit of a stampede started. Looks like it's get a little mucky running through the water there and they slow down.
Now, it looks like they're just going for a bush gang to try and catch Zion split pushing. Snoopeh is bait right now. Snoop Bear, all by himself. He's telling him, yeah, I want to catch more spears. Come up and get it. Nobody's taking the bait though, because as we said, Coast has a clear game plan for the late game.
One hell of a game for InnoX. He's had the task of trying to stop.
Nintendude's got a bubble that could help him, but it's going to still be harsh.
Ooh, hey, there you go. The Thresh Express. Daydreamin has had some awesome lanterns this game. Nintendude goes in. He draws that to Pobelter. Very nice.
Zion's making a beeline for the inhibitor down bottom, so that's why EG are calling back.
This is going to be Coast. They have to stick onto EG here. They cannot let them back. They have vision on the right side. You can see it just over the wall, but they're going to semi-take their time on this. Zion doesn't fully go for it, and he looks like he might want to engage.
They need ward coverage. Zion's definitely going to shore up both sides here. And if they recall to try and answer Zion, it obviously is going to mean the Baron. That's the decision that Coast has to pose to EG.
It's already been an interesting watch as Coast has been trying to get in the base of Evil Geniuses. Now, Zion is going to be up for this Baron. The 3rd Baron going to Coast in this game. It should definitely not take 3, but EG's been doing a great job to their credit holding off the base as well.
It's pretty funny, too, how yesterday when I was interviewing Alex, the coach of Coast, asking about, Coast have sort of deviated from their tried and true strategies of having Zion just be a beefy top laner and split push. And he was like, yeah, we're trying to get him to learn tanks, learn how to team fight more as a tanky top laner, zone people out. But they haven't found any wins that way. So reverting back to the Jax and just going with the same old split push.
Yep.
Definitely seems to be the way to go for this team. Because Zion always getting to this point. And now, he's almost maxed out on items. He's just got that 1 ward slot that he's keeping so that he'll be safe. Got all these hybrid items that are really, really effective on Jax. And it's turning into a base race. I like this call from EG because they don't have a very good chance if they just wait for the Coast siege. And again, their speed in the rotations is just outplaying Coast right now. Coast trying to recall, and they're the ones looking to engage here. EG answer back. This is very beautifully played by EG from behind.
You know, Jax can take down turrets, so can a Lich-Baned Kayle. Pobelter helping the team crush down there. We'll see if EG is just waiting in this brush.
Now, Coast have got to be checking any bushes that they walk close to. So I don't think they will fall prey to this. But it could also be another sneak push. If all of EG stay there and then jump out of the bush to go snag some inhibitors, they can trade inhibitors here. And there they do. They go for it. They just exit the bush. They're trying to poke and prod them. That ward, though, immediately causes all of EG to turn around.
Call it back. So both teams are trying to make plays here. This is going to be quite interesting.
It's hilarious because when you're this behind like this, your options are limited, but these are the sneaky plays that you try and go for. You try and trade evenly when you're this far behind because every even trade is actually helping you get closer overall.
They're just getting back. Not going to have home guards on too many. We do have Shyvana coming back in. InnoX should be able to stop this. He actually goes to the top lane. He's going to leave everyone else to tend to the middle. Coast has a few things they can do on this. They got to get the bottom lane pressured up before they can work with that. But they can go mid and they can go top here. And Zion, he's been enjoying the split push for himself.
It is, you know, getting to that point though. EG are building up a nice war chest for themselves. They've been able to claw their way back into this and defend their base thus far.
Zion should be able to get the bottom inhibitor. Every time Coast moves forward, it's because Shiphtur is hitting spears. Nothing else is really getting them into this base if there's a turret there, besides ZionSpartan.
All right, they make the collapse onto Zion, so that should open up damage on this turret. That's why I think the rest of Coast might want to return to that exposed inhibitor up top because they can get damage that will stay and take it down quicker. No, Zion almost getting the inhibitor.
He draws the whole team, and the Stampede comes down very hard. The Boomerang Blade misses, so it's not a huge burst of damage, but the rest of everyone follows up. Wait a minute, Daydreamin could be going down here. InnoX gets grabbed up from the side. They go on to Daydreamin, but he's stopped up, punched right in the jaw by Nintendude.
He clotheslined InnoX out of the Dragon's Descent. Nintendude with the save with the Vault Breaker. But
that's
still,
the second awesome
they lost their point man in that split push. They lost Zion because of the collapse. Inside the base, it's very easy for EG to make that rotation. As we said, their speed advantage is just so immense that they can easily make that move before Coast.
These fights, not necessarily getting sloppy, but they're not allowing Coast to use their poke anymore.
Well, if you have a baroned up team like this with Coast, you may want to abandon the split push and start going for the 5-man group up.
He's like, turn around.
Yeah, exactly. Get back on your butt there, InnoX. Turn them right around. Now, I don't know, yeah, going for the 5-man group at an exposed inhibitor with a Caitlyn, it seems like in theory they'd be able to get some good damage down, but EG, all they have to do to force a fight would be pop on the hunt, and as we said, the initiation from Krepo with Annie is always going to be there. Coast have to know this, and splitting up like that, it's harder for them to make the rotation outside of the base than it is for EG to make it inside.
And we see with that average timer about 11 minutes ago, these teams were finding their average wins 36 minutes or so, really testing each other in this game. Oh, Krepo, good hands.
Okay.
Isotoners around.
Pobelter can heal up half of the damage of a spear, so.
That's true.
Well,
that doesn't mean you should take them, though.
No, it doesn't.
Ooh, throwing it into the trees there to try and get a little bit of fog of war action.
Zion is bottom again. So now they come to the path where EG just decide, are we going to force this inhibitor? Oh my goodness.
Wanted that one right around his enemy. Looks like they'll get damage on this. Watch Pobelter just crush this puppy down with the rest of his team. A few more. Yellowpete a little too close to the front. One more shot could be it, but the ace in the hole is down.
Now, if they can delay the team, they don't want to fully chase it. They just want to delay the team for Zion to get 2 inhibitors.
Zion over here in Mordor, all by himself.
Now, Zion, no matter what, he's going to get the rest of EG coming in behind him. So Coast have to follow as close as they can because Zion's going to be running for his life.
Got those shoes tied tight. He will be safe, and they're just left chasing, trying to get themselves back coordinated. They only got the mid turret left. It's going to start streaming minions down that top and bottom lane, and it's going to be very hard once they flood the base.
We've spent so much time split pushing that Baron is almost back up. So this 2 inhibitors down for Coast on the side lanes are actually going to cause a lot more pressure than the mid lane inhibitor being down. And Coast have another good chance at getting this Baron very quickly because they can load up this blue side of the map with traps, and they have so much damage, as we saw before. They melt right through Baron, so they can do it on spawn if their side lanes are pushing, because side lane inhibitors being down will mean that that lane is focused on killing one Nexus turret, and it can actually just go down to pure minion pressure.
And I love these games, Kobe, because always in the early part of the game, you get to see a player's potential when they don't have any money, when they don't. But when games go this long, you get to see that max potential of the champion they're on, and it just gets so much better.
Then we start theory crafting. All right, what do I sell now? I'm going to take out my boots for a Zephyr. I'm going to take out my my jungle item for a real tank item.
It's always different too, because you never reach this point you don't always reach this point, right? It's kind of like, well, this is a different occasion, it's a different situation. Maybe I'll build this time.
And it really shows you the maximum potential of the champions. Fully maxed out on items. How well can you perform in a team fight? Because it makes every little mechanical mistake stand out like a sore thumb.
It's like watching ADs go back and sell the down GA for a Blade of the Rune King or something to stay alive. Things you have to do to keep yourself going. Going to Talisman Ascension right now just to get themselves into position. It looks like Coast is heading towards that top side.
Yeah, they want to pressure both side lanes at the exact same time here. Taking away the blue buff is, as we said already several times, very high importance for their team.
It's getting scary.
Look at Zion. He doesn't want to show himself because he has no ward coverage until the rest of the team is causing pressure on the mid lane.
We're going to have a good wave up top. It won't have to be answered too soon. We'll see if Shiphtur can start hitting those spears. A lot of Banshee's Veils have become apparent on the side of EG. You even see a few start coming on the side of Coast as well. It only gets harder and harder to pressure these turrets, and Shiphtur is the only one that's really been able to activate the 4-push turrets with his spears. They've been waiting for that.
So Zion's down bottom, but there's no buildings down bottom besides the Nexus turret, and he's not going to get all the way that deep into the EG base. Probably Coast grouping up right now and having everyone at mid, just waiting for spears would be the better option, because they keep on landing hooks and they keep on landing skill shots. If the side lanes are going to be pushing anyway, they should be able to just shove right in.
ZionSpartan is awesomely using these minion waves as kind of a cover for his Nidalee spears. As you see Yellowpete come and boomerang them up. He's hit 4 out of 5 in the last ones by doing that. Really great play and just a cheeky little way to get those spears to count. In the base, Coast is having a field day right now, but EG, they're looking to get the Talisman on the hunt as well. They only have Daydreamin, a great box trying to separate the fight away. InnoX forced to flash out. WizFujiiN right in the back. Snoopeh's trying to get him, and they cannot do anything about it. Yellowpete takes 2, 3 shots because of the barrier, and they start wiping Evil Geniuses off the map.
Zion gets away from Pobelter, having Kayle's damage all focused on chasing there. They're not going to win the game. Coast are able to take it.
What a crazy back and forth game for a while. 18-9 is your final score at 52.5 minutes into the game. Coast finds another win.
So even though